Hello everyone, welcome to channel Qtomation. In previous session we have started with framework creation using page object model, pytest and HTML reports etc. In today's session we will see in that project how we can add logs inside the project. So first we have to understand why logs are important in any automation project. So logs helps in debugging and troubleshooting issues. So when we execute the test cases, if something goes wrong during the test execution, logs provide a detailed history of the test execution and it makes easier to identify the root cause of the problem. So when we execute the test cases and let's say there is some error occurs or due to any reason something fails, then we have to troubleshoot it. And for that troubleshooting, logs always help. So we can see the log file. Inside the logs file, we can see step by step how the execution went. And wherever we have added the logs in our test cases, it will show key up to this point what if any error has occurred, or in general if anything goes wrong. By troubleshooting, logs always helps. So first thing we will do, once any test case fails or anything goes wrong in our test execution, we actually check the log files and we go through the logs to find out exact problem. It helps to detection and troubleshooting. Another benefit of important of logs in our project is traceability. So logs provide a trace of the test execution flow. Logs help in understanding the sequence of actions performed during the test. Verification and validation. So logs act as mean of verification and validation. So by reviewing the logs, we can ensure that the expected actions are being performed and the expected results are obtained at each step of the test. So that is another benefit of adding logs in our test cases. Documentation. Logs serves as form of documentation for your test scripts. So by adding logs, they provide insights into the behavior of the test and helps understanding the purpose of functionality of each step. So these are some high level benefits of adding logs in our project. That's why we should add some logging mechanism in our automation project. It's a one-time activity. We don't have to add these steps which we are going to add in some time. We don't have to perform for every test case. It is basically a one-time activity to create some logging mechanism in our framework. So once we create the logging mechanism, adding logs become very easy for next test cases. So we will see how we can add the logs in our project. So to add the logs in our project, we have to first create one utility file inside our utilities package. So we have to create one utility file, that is customlogger.py, inside our utilities package. Then we will create one log configuration class in that customlogger.py file. We will create one class in that utility file and then we can add logs in our test cases. I will show you practically. So now let's go back to PyCharm. So this is our project. So this is our test cases. So this is test admin login.py file in which we have added our test cases. Now what is the first step? We have to create one utility file inside utilities package. We can give any name to that file. I am just giving name as, I will create a new Python file. I am naming it as custom underscore logger file. So we have created custom logger.py file. Inside this file, what we have to do is we have to first import one logging module. So in Python, we can add logs by using logging module. So first we have to import logging module. After importing the logging module, what we have to do is we have to create one class. So I'm just creating one class. I'm naming it as class logmaker. So we have created a logmaker class. And inside this class, we have to create one static method. What are the static method that we have already seen, right? So static method we can call directly by using class name. We don't have to create object for static methods to call them. So let's create one static method and name it as def loggen. So this is, we can give any name. I am just giving the name as loggen. So this is the static method inside our logmaker class. After that, we have to use logging module dot basic config. In logging module, we have to use basic config method, and in this method we have to pass some parameters. In this method we have to pass some parameter. First parameter is file name. So file name is something, here we have to give the path of the file in which our logs will be generated, and logs will be written in that log file. So what I will do, I will create one file in our logs folder. So inside the logs folder we can create a new file, and let's name it as nop commerce dot log. So this is our log file which we have created inside the logs folder. And here inside the custom logger.py we have to just provide the path of that file so that our logs will be written into that file after the test execution. So we have to provide the path. So where is that file present? So one dot, two times slashes, then we have to provide what is the folder name, logs. I will just use logs, the folder name, two times forward slash, two times slashes, and the name of the file. So what is the name? nop commerce dot log file. So we have provided the path of that file. So the logs will be written inside this file now. After file name, we have to provide some format. So in what format we want to see our logs? So for that I will just add one line. So for format we can simply add datetime format, and along with that force equals to true as a parameter. So I will just pass those value. So this is the code which we have to add. So we have added format. Basically it will add the timestamp and all the other things like level name. We have also provided the date format. So this is the format for date and time. And after adding this line, what we have to do, we have to create one variable, that is logger equals to logging dot, we have to call one method, that is get logger method. So we have to create one logger object in which we are calling logging dot get logger method. After that what we have to do, we have to first set the level of log dot set level logger dot set level. We have different type of levels in our logs, right? What are those levels and what are the usage, that we will see in some another session. But just understand that there are different levels, like for example if I say logging.info, logging.debug, so these are all different type of levels for logs addition. So here I will just add logging.info as levels. So we are adding and we are setting the level as logging.info. We are setting it as info level. And after that, this method should return logger object. So whenever we are calling this method, in our test cases, so this is a static method, and we can call this static method by using class name directly, right? So I will just expand to see it clearly. So this is the class which we have created. In this class, we have created one static method. This static method is loggen method, in which we have added some basic configuration like format and all. file path and other things. Then we have created one logger object by calling logging.getLogger. We have to set the level of the logs, logger.setLevel. We have set the level as logging.info, info level which we have set for our logs. After setting the info, we are just returning the logger object. So whenever we call this loggen method, this is a static method. It will be called by using class name. It will return the logger object. And by using this logger object, we can add test cases. We can add logs in our test cases. So now let's go back to test cases. So this is our test cases. So now we want to create the object of this logmaker class. But for that we have to import this module, right? So we have to first import this package. So how to import it? From what is the package name? Utilities package. We have created custom logger.py file inside the utilities package. So I will just import that from utilities dot custom logger import. Which class we want to import? That is logmaker class. We have imported the logmaker class. After importing the logmaker class, what we have to do? Now we will be creating one object. Let's say I'm just creating logger equals to, I have to call that static method. How to call the static method? Logmaker, that is the class name, dot, we have to call this loggen method. So we are calling logmaker dot loggen method. So it will call this and it will return this logger. So if you call this method, it is returning this logger and that will be stored in this logger object. And now we can use this logger object or logger variable inside our test cases to add the expected logs, right? So we can add logs at multiple steps. So let's try to use it. So for what I will do, I will just add at the starting of the test case. For example, I can simply add log like self dot logger, since it's a class variable, self dot logger dot info. I want to set the level as info. There are multiple levels: info, debug, error, warning, and all. So I'm just setting it as info, self.logger.info, and inside this we can simply add the log statement. So now we are inside test case first one, right? So why we add the log? So we should be identifying. So whenever the test execution start, we should understand how the test execution is going. What are the different step sequence which are getting executed? So we are now executing inside the first test case. So what we will do, we will just add test case name so that it will inform us that this test case has started. So I'm just adding some log format here, and always try to keep it unique format. It should be consistent across all the test cases. So I'm just adding some star, and then I'm just adding test case name, test class name in that. So it will identify that we are inside the first test cases, that is for admin logging. So this is how we can add the logs. After that, I can also add, for example, let's say I want to add some more logs. So what I will do, so we are inside the first test case. So what I will type, that which test case we are verifying? We are verifying for test title verification. So I will just type here verification of admin page title. So I'm just adding one statement, verification of admin, let's say login page title. So these logs will be printed whenever we are executing this test case. After that, we can add some more logs like this. So I will just add some more logs. Let's say once the test case pass, so I'm just adding inside this if block as well. So whenever the actual title and expected title are matching, that means test case is getting passed. So here also I will just add some log. Title match. So whenever these titles are matching, this log will print. Or we can add in failure case as well. So I will just add here. So whenever the test case fails, it will print this statement which we are adding now. So I will just add title not matched. That is for failure log. Similarly, we will add logs inside another test case. Let's say try to add logs inside another test case, so that all the logs will print in our which file? nopcommerce.log file. That file will contain all these logs. So I will just copy these logs as well. And this is one time activity. Now by using this utility file which we have created, we can create the logger object. Tomorrow, let's say I'm just creating 10 another test classes. We can add similarly in that. So we don't have to create this utilities file again and again. It is just a one time activity. So now if I want to add logs in further test cases, it becomes very easy. I just have to create the object, logger object, and by using self.logger, we can put our logs in all the test cases. Now for valid admin login. So what I will do, I'm just adding logs for here as well. So let's say I'm just adding logs here inside this test case. Test valid admin login. Test valid admin login started. So I will just add it at started. Then if the test case passes inside this dashboard text matches, then I will add one more log here. Self.logger.info. We can add dashboard text found. We can add dashboard text found. Similarly, for invalid admin login also, we can add some logs. For example, let's say I will just add test invalid login admin login started, and inside the pass we can add one more. So this condition is for error message matching, right? So I will just add test invalid admin login error messages matched. That is for passing the test case. So it will inform us that we are going in which execution steps. Now what I will do, so similarly we can add multiple logs wherever we want, and all the logs will be printed in our log file, that is nopcommerce.log file. If I open this file now, if you see, there is no log present currently because we haven't done test execution. So as soon as we execute our test cases, you will see the logs will printed here. So I'm just closing this file. So this is how we can actually add the logs. So now let's execute the test cases and let's see whether it is printing the logs inside our log file or not. So let's go back to terminal and let's execute the command pytest -v-s. It will launch the browser and it will execute all the 3 test cases. And after the test execution, we should be able to see logs inside our logs folder inside nopcommerce.log file. It will print all the logs which we have added in our test cases. So first test case is passed. Now it is executing the second test case for valid admin login. If you see, it is logged in. Dashboard text will be matched. It will close the browser. It is also passed. Now it will execute the third test case. Third case is also passed. So all the 3 test cases are passed now. That means our test execution is completed. Now let's see whatever logs we have added here, right? So we have added the logs. All those logs are getting printed in our log file or not. Let's see that. So I will just go to logs folder. This is our nopcommerce.log file. I will just double click on it. If you see, all the logs along with the timestamp, it is actually added. If you see, level is info level. This is the time. At this time it is executed and it is printing the log statement. So first test case started, verification of admin login page title, test title verification title match. So for this test case, this title match the logs statement which we have added in the passing case, right? After that, it has started test valid admin login test case started. Then also in that case, dashboard text found. Then we are moving to another test case, that is test invalid admin login started. And after that, test invalid login error message matched. So we can add wherever we want to add the logs, and all those logs will be printed in our log file. So this is our logging mechanism that we have successfully added in our project. So let's revise one more time what we have done. And also this is a one-time activity. Now once we have created this custom logger.py utility file, now for further test cases which we will add, we just have to create the logger object which we have created here, and we just have to use this self.logger.info along with the logging statement. That's it. So it becomes very easy to add the logs now in our project. So this is how we can add the logs inside our project. So what we have done for adding the logs, we have created one custom logger.python file in our utilities package. We have created custom logger.python file under utilities package. Then we have created custom logger.python file, and we have added one class in it, that is log maker class, which contains one static method, that is log generation method, in which we have added some basic configuration. For example, file path, what is the timestamp which we want to use, setting the level of the logs and all that we have added in that method. And then we have simply created the object logger in our test case. So if you see, we have created inside the utilities package, we have created this custom logger.py file. We have created the log maker class. We have created one static method in which we have added basic configuration. Then we have created the logger object by using getLogger method, and then we have set the level, that is logging.info level, and we have returning the logger object. So whenever this loggen method is called by using logmaker class, since it's a static method, then we have created inside the test cases, we have created the logger class object, that is logmaker.loggen. So we are calling that method, that is returning the logger, and by using this self.logger, that is the class variable, we are now adding the log statement like this. So wherever required, we can add the log statements, and whenever the test execution happens, all those logs will be printed in our nopcommerce.log file. So that's about adding logs in our project. Thank you for watching this video. We will continue this session for the next time also. So in next session, we will see some more enhancements in our test auto